Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential through the power of mindset. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte, a transformative creator and multi-award-winning trailblazer, as she guides you on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. With a background in corporate leadership and workforce development, Dr. Alisa has dedicated her career to inspiring individuals to achieve their goals and dreams. Known as the #1 mindset disruptor, she firmly believes that the key to success lies within the mind. Dr. Whyte has witnessed the incredible impact a shift in mindset can have on one's life, career, and relationships. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just beginning your journey of self-discovery, you'll find valuable lessons, inspiring stories, and practical tools to elevate your life. In each episode, Dr. Alisa engages with thought leaders, coaches, and changemakers from around the globe, exploring their journeys and the mindsets that have propelled them to success. Get ready to reframe your perspective, embrace challenges, and cultivate the mindset necessary to achieve your dreams. Now let's dive into today's episode and discover how to master your mindset for a brighter, more fulfilling future.
Hello, disruptors. Welcome to another electrifying episode of Mindset Mastery Moments with yours truly. Get ready to ignite your passion, unlock your potential, and manifest your wildest dream. Today is going to be somewhat of a roller coaster of emotions, inspiration, and you get on the shift of becoming an unstoppable force for manifesting your true desires. We have the force of manifestation herself here in the building. So buckle up and prepare to embark on a journey of a lifetime with us today. Today, we are welcoming an empowering guest whose name is Gina Giro. Gina, we welcome you to Mindset Mastery Moments. Come on through. Hey, beautiful.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. But before we hear from you, I have got to tell our guest a little bit about what you've been up to in bringing so much change in the work that you get to do around the world. Gina Giro is a manifestation teacher. She is clairsentient, and I can't wait to dive into that. She is a certified emotion, body, and belief code practitioner, and certainly a beacon of hope for anyone seeking to break free from limitations and manifest their deepest desires. Let me tell you, wasn't all chunky and easy, as you know, for anyone who's going to bring so much change in the world. In 2008, at the age of 28, so perfectly done, Gina became obsessed with the concept of manifestation. Despite facing skepticism, she sold all her belongings and pursued her dream of living in LA. Within 6 months, she manifested her dream of being able to work among professionals, creatives, and celebrities. And of course, she signed a lot of NDAs along the way. And today she helps others with unleashing their potential and working with them to unlock their wildest and most passionate desires through her work as a certified, and I want you to pay attention, emotion code, body code, and belief code, assisting her clients with releasing all their emotional baggage and bringing their energy up to a balance where they can achieve all over and holistic well-being. And Gina, we can't wait to hear from you. I had the privilege of sitting with you months ago to plan this, to just talk about what you do. And you helped me break free, and I'm still using some of the tools that you gave me on our first call. So I can't wait to share with the audience. Welcome again to Mindset Mastery Moments.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Gina, so in your own words, tell us who you are, what you do, and please, we're curious about what clairsentient means.
So, let me start with that. Clairsentient is psychic feeling. So there are 5 clairs. So, we all know of clairvoyant. So that's psychic seeing or perfect seeing. Mm-hmm. There's audient, meaning you can hear, like hearing the voice. Sentient is feeling. And I used to be a massage therapist. And so I was always feeling with my hands and like feeling people's truth. Like you might be clairsentient. Oh, and this is also claircognizant when you just know. Like I just know things sometimes, and I didn't always trust that. But at this age, after this happening hundreds of times, I'm like, I knew about that person. Oh, the spidey senses were correct.
Yes.
So I
That's
had
called clear cognizant.
claircognizant.
I know that I am. It's so spooky for a lot of people, but I'm comfortable with it at 44.
Yes, me too. I just got comfortable like letting people know like I'm clairsentient.
Yes.
And there's a couple more that I can't, that I guess I'm not
So
them.
there's
So
clairvoyant, clairsentient, clear cognizant,
cognizant, audient.
clairaudient, and then there's I forgot
One
what
more.
the fifth one is.
It's actually okay. So maybe there's two. You can have psychic taste and psychic smell.
Yes, yes, that's right. Right.
So I don't have those really, although I am like a super taster and super smeller. So maybe
You
I
kind
don't
of
know.
go back and I think when you have one, you might be able to tap into the others at varying degrees at varying times, is what I've heard. I was watching a podcast, but I haven't really encountered the clear sentient. So one more time, the clear sentient is the
Clear feeling. Like
clear
I
feeling.
feel the answers. And there's some clairvoyance in there as too. Like a lot of times, and then we'll probably do some sample energy work here. I'll close my eyes and I see it, but I'm not to the point where I can do it with my eyes open. But if I close my eyes, like I can see things.
Yes.
And I've heard the voice of God or a spirit guide or an angel one time in my life, like so clear. And I'm like, okay, if I did it once, I know I can do that again.
Yes.
But that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
Almost. So it has not happened since, but I welcome the experience.
You welcome the experience again.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. So let's talk about going back a little bit in your journey before you fully, I would say, embrace, because I feel like a gift, like those gifts that you have with that part, I believe you've been born with it. So you decided to pursue your dream and move to LA, and you just packed up everything and said, I'm giving it all up to pursue my passion and my purpose. Yeah. What kind of mindset were you in? And I mean, 28, that's not very young. So it's not like you're making a reckless decision at this point.
Right. And that was 2008 when all this started. So I was just in like belief in myself. Okay. So what had happened is around that time I had found Esther and Abraham Hicks.
Oh.
And they were speaking. I mean, I was just like, what is manifestation? And what is this law of attraction? You know, The Secret had come out maybe 2 years before, and I'm just craving the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, before podcasts and before social media really was even a thing. Like Facebook, we were all still doing our fake gardens on Facebook. I think it was like
I was a junkie.
So Facebook was just like pictures and cute quotes and things like that. So it just wasn't like the monster that it is today. But I got away from all of that stuff, and I was just obsessed with listening to Esther and Abraham. And there's this Marianne Williamson quote about,
I love her.
Yes. You know, the one about, I mean, when I first heard it, I cried at like the truth of it all. And I won't say the whole quote, but I'm sure a lot of us here know it. It's not our darkness that we're afraid of. It's our light.
Yes.
I just got chills even saying it again.
Yes,
like, yes, I feel that.
Yes, because I remember when I encountered that quote and I was like, oh my God. And I talk a lot about the fear of success in lighter terms, because when people hear dark and light, they start saying, you're going to do that woo-woo stuff. But that was life-changing for me.
Yeah, we're afraid, you know, we're used to living paycheck to paycheck or just being happy with just so much, but we're afraid of the power, the wealth, the richness, the living as a full expression of our higher self boldly, no matter what anybody else thinks about it, right? I was just freaking out of all of that. So I'm listening to Esther and Abraham, and they're telling me successful people are just doing things differently. Rich people are not more special than me or born into it, that like anybody can have that. And I liked what they were saying, right? So it's like, okay, tell me what I want to hear. But then after you hear that enough and they're rich and successful,
yes,
and seem to really want the best for me. I mean, I felt that, you know, and it's like, I'm going to go for it. What I had always wanted, like from a young age, I was obsessed with LA, like Beverly Hills 90210, LA, the hair gel, LA gear tennis shoes. Like there was a cartoon. And it's funny because I rewatched 90210 last summer, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was 12 years old, like lusting after Dylan McKay. So I don't know if you ever watched that show, but I'm like, I was awfully young, but I think that like kind of planted the seed of like, how cool would that be to live there and whatever. So I was a massage therapist, and just the dream was building. So both of my parents have had cancer and healed from cancer.
Oh,
so they were both healthy. And I'm aware that like anything could happen at any time. And also all the more reason to live my life. So I'm like, my parents are healthy. My grandma's, old, aging, but young enough. But like, this is my life. I could sneak off to LA for a few years, live out my dreams. Like, I'm going to at least try. Because if I don't try, I love the great Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You know it. So I'm like, well, and I also think about Jackie Brown. Okay, I guess we all know I love TV and movies. Did you ever see Jackie Brown?
Yes.
And when she's talking about her whole plan, and he's saying this could fall all apart. And she's like, yeah, but at least I tried. So I'm just like, I'm going to try.
That's it.
So on my birthday, and this was a little bit soon. So I found Esther Hicks at 28. Before my 30th birthday, I announced on my 30th birthday, I am going to announce that I'm moving to LA because I didn't want my parents to be like, you haven't thought of this. And so I'm pre-telling you that I am going to tell you and that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was about 2 weeks before I was getting ready to leave, before my mom was like, so you're really doing this? Like, you're real, like, she walks in my apartment, I have no furniture. She's like, so I guess you're serious. Because it's unlike me. Well, it's not unlike me anymore, but it was unlike me.
Unlike you then. Yeah.
Yeah, that I would do anything like that. So I did it. And, it wasn't easy, but it also was. Like, it was just the best of times. And I also thought like, well, I could come for 3 months or I could stay for 3 years. And I don't know what's going to happen, but, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Within like a month. So things were already happening. When you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen.
Yes.
If there's any 90s kids in here, there was this band. I think I can, okay. Well, there was this popular band. I'll just say there's the band called the Toadies. Does anybody do you remember the Toadies?
I don't remember them, but I probably know their music.
Okay, you probably do. So I have this friend, and she's just the funnest friend. Like, if you go to a concert with her, you're probably going to hang out on the tour bus with the band.
Wow.
Or if there's a baseball team in town, you might end up on their bus. And not
that's a
in
groupie.
a sexual way either.
Yeah.
She's just fun and magnetic in this certain way.
She had the connections. Yeah.
She's friends with the lead singer. And I'm like, you're friends with the lead singer? Like, what? So we go to their concert, and then we end up on the bus. And then I was saying, like, I'm moving to LA in a few months, and I'm a massage therapist and blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, like, I could use a shoulder massage. One of them. I won't say who, but it's, a member of the band. I'm like, yes, like, let's do it. And they're like, we live in LA. So when you get there, like, here's my card, look me up. So I definitely did. And I'm thinking, I've only been here for a month. This has already happened. Like, if I'm kicked out of California and I fail miserably, like, I can go home already a winner. Like, I massaged a celebrity in LA. And it's not so much about the celebrity thing, but I wanted to work on like, okay, I've already said I love TV and movies a lot more back then than now, but because I don't really worship celebrities like I used to.
Yeah.
I was just, I'm sorry. I wanted to give to creative people the way that they had given to me. Like, they're so entertaining. I love them, and I would want to like take care of them in this way. And I'm also thinking, like, people in LA, they need massage therapy for their life. It's not like a birthday anniversary treat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just seeing, and people are telling me how I'm going to fail miserably, like, to my face. You'll be back.
Okay.
Which
Because how dare you think outside the box of the community, of the village? Like,
Yeah. Oh, and I will say one of them was somebody who I was working for. So when people who have something to gain from you, like staying small, do not listen to them.
Do not listen to them.
Do not. This guy is like, I know massage therapists in LA and they are living on minimum wage and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but they're living there, right? Like I'm hard-headed.
But the conditions are about, what are their choices? How are they setting themselves up to success? I'm not doubting he does. What does that have to do with me?
Thank you. Exactly. Like, I'm sure there's one not making minimum wage.
Yes.
And if not, like, I'll be the one.
I'm going to be the first.
Yeah, I'm going to pave the way. And that was so not true. You know what I mean? But like it is, okay, that's wrong. It is true. There are people doing that, but there's also people being wildly successful in the field of their choice. So I'm like, I'm going to be one of those people.
Right. But that person doesn't want to lose you there. And that's why I tell people, when you have an entrepreneurial mindset, do not talk to employers about it and don't talk to employees about it, because their 100%. Mindset is not the same as yours. It's meaning, you're thinking and dreaming about owning your own practice, and that one coworker that you've been massaging with, she doesn't have that dream. So she'll be like, are you crazy? And she'll try to talk you out of it, not because she's evil and a witch. Her mindset is set up different.
Yeah,
and the person who's hiring you does not want to lose you. This is why people don't even get promotions at jobs. Because if you're really great at being a massage therapist, how dare you dream of being the office manager? Like, that's not going to work for them. So now you have to leave and go somewhere else to be the office manager, because that's what you want. So don't talk to employers and employees. Code number 1, don't do it. It never helps. And I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to. And I say, don't get mad. Just know that, let them say, oh, thank you for sharing. And you move on, take it all and do this and move on. Because I had to learn to thank you for sharing. Because it used to be that, why are they so hateful? Haters going to hate. Right? But they're doing them. And it's like,
Exactly. It's like, that just tells you what you believe is true for you. And I know that there's something else true for me, because Esther and Abraham Hicks told me. Like, I am just hard-headed and stubborn, and I've learned to use those qualities for good or for my benefit, instead of to be stubborn about like, no, I can't have it, and this is why.
Because it's a choice. You can choose either way.
Yeah, you can fight for your limitations. Right. You can like let them go and just try. And I accepted, like, I might fail. But it's really not going to be a failure, because like I tried. You
would have learned so much. It's a win-win situation. You only fail when you didn't learn from something and you didn't get back up on the horse.
Exactly. And if nothing else, it'll be an adventure. It'll be a life experience. I'm here for it. It's not like I'm not welcome in Kansas City again. Like, I'll just move back. It's not the end of the world.
Well. Yeah.
But I didn't move back. I did succeed.
And you did.
I did. It's funny how that all happened. We probably don't have time for, well, I don't know how much you want me to get into, like, how I ended up with the NDAs.
I would love to, because this is what you're teaching us from this, is that when you know your purpose and you know your calling, I got to do something. You don't always understand the details. No one does. Even Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk did not have the details. They just believed in it and went head on. And that's what you're telling us. So we want to know what that journey looked like, because this could be more than half of the people listening, no matter how top of their game they might feel, they just don't feel like they're in alignment, because they're not living their true calling. And so going after that, it's not as complicated as we make it, only because we're afraid of the light more than we are of the dark.
Exactly. Yes, you're so right. Okay, so I think there are a lot of lessons in this. And in fact, when I was like making up my manifestation process, I'm like, how did I do that? So I'm retracing the steps of like, okay, step 1 is know what you want. Okay. And then this awesome thing happens when you know what you want. All these stories and limiting beliefs and reflections, meaning the people outside of you are reflecting back to you, like maybe what I was deep down afraid of, but still I'm hard-headed. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to listen to it, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
all these stories and limiting beliefs come to the surface, and then you can start to examine them. Oh, I believe what if, I could go into debt, I could lose everything I own, I could fail and embarrass myself or whatever.
Yeah.
So I go there and I am kind of like fiddling around with odd jobs and things like that. But it's funny. It's funny how it all unfolded, how one thing that seemed to have nothing to do with where I was headed had everything to do with it.
Wow.
Ooh. Okay. So before I was a massage therapist, I was also a bartender. Mm-hmm. So, I got a job as like a shot girl. Like I'm wearing fishnet stockings and booty shorts. And I'm like, at least I'm 30 and like can still pull this off. And I'm selling shots like in the club.
Yeah.
And I meet this guy who like wants to buy my tray of shots and go back to his house and watch Ellen and Oprah. It was Oprah's last season and I didn't have cable because I was staying with a friend on an air mattress on his floor. Mm-hmm. So from the air mattress to like the NDAs. And I'm like, that's crazy. I can't do that. He's like, we're all going to go back. Or I think that's what he said. I assume there was other people, but there was not. So he buys my whole tray and I'm like, he watches Oprah and Ellen, like, surely he's not going to kill me. And he didn't. He did not kill me. But that seems like a stupid thing, but there was something about him that was like, I trusted him. And for some reason, and he was just not attracted. Like, it's not that he's not attracted.
You weren't attracted to him.
Exactly. Yeah. So I get in his like limousine to go back and he was like kind of my neighbor. He lived just a few blocks away from where I lived in the Valley. Well, I was staying with my friend.
Yeah.
So we meet like in Hollywood and we do watch Oprah. But I get into his car and he's like, here, you can make your own drink. So, I didn't put anything in it. And I'm like, oh my God, like what's happening? But also how nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we building trust?
The bottles with the drink.
Are we building trust or are we not? I'm not sure. Right. But I'm just going with it.
Yeah.
So it's like the fool's journey, but I don't know. It just felt okay. And it was. My intuition was right. So anyway, long story, a little bit longer. He gets me a job as like a bartender for the night at this party in Hollywood. So I'm bartending. And at that party, I meet this guy who has a sister who's like this famous comedian. Mm-hmm. She had just won Last Comic Standing. And he's telling me, I could get you a job at the Comedy Store. My sister works there. She's a comedian. They love her. And I'm like, yeah, but why would you do that? Like, I'm not sleeping with you.
Exactly.
I'm being like just totally real here. And he was like, no, I just want to help you. I don't know. There was so much of that going on.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, if you really want to, like, I would love to work at the Comedy Store because I love comedy and I love comedians. I was like Jerry Seinfeld fan at the time. Now I'm a big fan of his sister who, I guess I can say it because I didn't massage her, Alisa Schlesinger.
Oh, I didn't know they were siblings.
Yeah. She has a brother who was at this party.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, no, not the guy with the
I was thinking,
limo.
okay. Yeah.
So the guy that I meet at the party, that the limo guy got me the job at the party.
For, yeah.
Okay. So she actually does it. She actually talks to the manager and actually sets up an interview for me. And they actually interview me and then they actually hire me.
Wow.
And I'm like, this girl doesn't know me from anything. I'm just some other girl who came to Hollywood who needs a job. And like,
right.
I still am like, I'm the girl that you got the job for whenever I comment on her stuff. But like, I'm so grateful. Like that was so nice of her.
And for her, she's just, I think a lot of people in Hollywood would have gone through where someone connected them. So they just pass it on all the time. I think that's what I've heard.
Apparently, but I couldn't believe how many people were like, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Like the guy who got me the job at the bartender with the limo and the Oprah. And then this guy. And none of them were like, and you need to pay me back sexually or anything like that. They were genuinely just helping me.
Right.
So I start working at the Comedy Store and I remember one night I made like $20. It was actually like 17 and I paid $10 to park because you don't get, and by the way, I'm a terrible waitress. I was an amazing bartender, quick, like.
But waitressing is not your thing.
It's a different thing. And I was bad at it. but also I got
That's how I
the
feel.
worst rooms and it was just bad. So one night I'm looking on Craigslist for other jobs because I'm thinking, what am I doing here? I didn't move here to be a comedy store waitress. I didn't move here to be a comedy store waitress. I moved here to be a massage therapist. So let me look into that.
Right.
So I look, and Massage Envy is hiring for $17.50 an hour, which is not great. And I think that's beneath me. But also, I'm making $17.50 a day. So that is a step up. Like, humble yourself, Gina. You're not better than that. You need this job. And plus tips. Yeah. And it was in Marina Del Rey. So I'm like, oh, and it's by the ocean. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to live in Santa Monica because I didn't come this far just to live 20 miles from the beach. I'm going for it.
Yeah, like, I've got to be by the beach. Exactly.
So then I get that job. And this girl, after a couple, so I'm making the $17.50 an hour and $10 and $20 tips, which is not terrible, but also
back then it was decent money.
It was decent. Yeah. I could survive, but I'm not going to be like getting my own place. It's
not happening.
We have a gap that needs to be closed.
Yeah.
So this girl comes in and she's like, I did a massage for a Laker last night at like 11 p.m. after the game. And I'm like, are you insane? You went to, and now mobile massage is the whole thing, but I'm like, are you crazy? You went to a person's house to massage them at 11 o'clock at night? And she's like, yeah, it's like a thing. This is happening all over Los Angeles. And I'm like, from the Midwest thinking, oh my gosh.
You don't go to people's house after 8.
That's what I'm thinking. And, I guess they're famous.
If you're there after 8, you got to leave by 9.
Exactly. But she made $65 for the massage and he tipped her like $100 or maybe $40. I know that there was $100 in there. So she made like $100 an hour, but I think it was $100 tip.
Wow.
So I'm like, tell me how you did it. 1 second, I'm like, that's so unsafe. Are you crazy? And then I'm like, tell me more.
Yeah, this money's good money. This will fill the gap.
Yeah. Like she came to work the next day.
She was
I'm telling this, I'm like, wow, you really put yourself into some crazy situations.
Yeah.
But it all worked out.
Yeah.
So she gives me the name of the company and I get an interview. And the woman, the day of the interview, she cancels it. And I'm like, oh, I need this job because $65 a hour is like a whole shift almost at Massage Envy plus the tip. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So then I reschedule. Second time, she cancels it again the day of.
Ooh.
And I'm like, no, I really want this. And I don't care about Lakers. I'm not a sports fan, but like I'm a fan of $65 an hour.
An hour.
So the third time, I'm like, I'm not going to confirm professionally like I have been and give her the chance to cancel on me. I'm going to go to the interview. So I call her 10 minutes ahead of time and I said, hi, I'm here for my interview. Are you ready or should I wait? And she's like, you're here. Okay, come on in. This is just kind of how she was. She was spread thin. She was busy. Yeah. She wasn't always lovely, but she was I understood her. Yeah, but she's like, fine, come in.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah, she's like, darn stalker.
I don't care. I don't need you to sugarcoat my feelings or make me feel
just
good.
Be you. Yeah.
I need you to give me a job. So if you want to be like, yeah, I'm here to give you a free massage as my interview.
Right.
So she lets me come in and then she's like, okay, you're good. And you're going to get the job. Let's fill out the paperwork. I'm filling out the paperwork and she gets a call. She's like, can you be in Marina Del Rey in 20 minutes? And I'm like, or maybe at like 4:00. I have a shift at Massage Envy at like 6. And so I already got a client.
Why?
And I'm like
right now.
Yep, I can be there. So I finish out, fill out my paperwork. I go to Marina Del Rey. I massage this man and like, I'm in it. So I'm doing the Massage Envy, but then I'm stuck with like, I can't take these $65 an hour jobs because they come up like, can you be here in 30 minutes? Can you be here in an hour?
Oh.
So I had 1 foot on one and 1 foot on the other. So I had to eventually make a choice.
Pull something up. Yeah.
I'm going to have to give up the secure 4 6-hour shift every night for the chance to be available for the
Or
$65.
$65, because that would equivalent working less when you get popular and people are calling you back for repeat services.
Exactly. But
you
it's
have to
scary
build
because
that.
it's like, what if I don't get booked? But
Right.
it's like, still, again, I didn't come this far to only come this far.
That's the risk. Entrepreneurship.
And I was at a very like a singer's like bungalow that everybody in the world knows who this person is. And so I'm massaging the assistant, and I didn't think the singer was going to get a massage because this is like a 9 a.m. appointment and I have to be at Massage Envy at 1. So I massage the assistant, the singer gets up, she's singing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And then she said, can you stay and massage me? And I'm like, I sure can, but hold on, I have to make a phone call. So I have to call Massage Envy and be like,
I'm running late. I can't come in today.
I'm not coming. I'm not that kind of person. I wouldn't do that. But again, I'm like, if I only go home with just this story, like I've made it. This is what I came for.
You've done it. Yeah.
And I don't care. Like fire me, but I'm taking this life experience. This is what I literally moved here for. And it is happening to me. And I'm not going to be like, no, I have to go to Massage Envy to work.
You're going to have to trust God that he's leading you down the path that he's got you.
Yeah. 100%. And it's like, I mean, I'm here. So like, this must be the right thing. So I quit Massage Envy, and then I jumped in and like that's all I did. I picked up this other agency that had very similar clients. And then whenever they called, I quit whatever I was doing. And I mean, sometimes it was, can you be here and, tomorrow, but it was not usually like that. It's like somebody got an idea, they wanted a massage and get to go do it. So that's how that all unfolded. And there were so many times, because it's.
And did you end up getting settled financially in a flow with that type of work? Or was it still a little bit of a challenge?
No, I did. It just, once I finally like kind of got there, and there were times where I was worried about money or feeling like I was never actually running out, but I felt like I was. There's those stories of like Joey Tribbiani, whatever his name is, Matt LeBlanc from Friends. Mm-hmm. He had like $7 in his bank account when he got the job for Friends.
Right.
And I could not get down to my last $7, but I may as well have had $7. I was acting like I only had $7, and I maybe had like $600 or $700.
Yeah.
It's still not rolling in it, but I'm not so poor that I have only $7. But I feel like I do because I'm like clenching it, and I want to make it last, and I'm trying not to like.
So you live that way. You live below your means because your means is just barely above homeless.
Pretty much, yeah.
I've been there, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How did that shape you, though? How did that shape your understanding of manifestation? Because obviously, I heard first, you have this passion. You feel the call. Just go after it. Make a plan and go after it. You count the risk, you count the reward. Your risk was, I'm giving up everything. No one here is supporting me on it. But I believe it's worth the shot because I believe so much in it. I don't know what, so I'm going to make a plan and I'm going to stick to it. You give yourself a timeline as well. You're very specific, which is making a SMART goal technically. But a lot of times we want that SMART goal to have all these other details that will include the variance of environment, time, other people. You cannot plan that down. No. But that's it. When you believe in yourself, you're going to go after it. And then you went in there and you just kept, I would say it's almost like watching someone lay the bricks for you to walk. It's like them rolling out the red carpet and you just hoping that I wouldn't say red carpet because when there's a red carpet, it's being rolled in front of you, it's going to roll. But when someone's laying bricks, they get tired. It's too hot. They might want to stop today and you can't walk. Or maybe someone's building a bridge in front of you, right, as you go, and it's a whole sea to cross, right? So tell us, how did that shape your understanding of manifestation when you went through that whole journey?
It was okay. So I'm from a little town in Missouri outside of Kansas City called Grain Valley. Okay. 1,900 people growing up. And I'm thinking, there's so many people who would love to be in this room massaging this person. And like, how did I get here?
From Green Valley to this
bungalow, like this NDA, like, and I had only lived there for like 6 months. Like, people work years for that.
Yeah.
So what it taught me is like, anything and everything is possible if it's what you really want. So if someone hears like, whatever, an engineer, and they're thinking, oh, but they really love Hollywood. Forget what I was saying. What I want to say is like, it really has to be your true dream in your heart. So like, you have this like huge successful podcast, and I think it would be cool to have a podcast, but I'm not like really having this huge, like, it would be
try
cool
for it. Yes.
But so this is your like perfect for you kind of a thing. And there's lots of things that would be cool to do, but it's not what people really want in their heart.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I think one of the keys was like, I really was clear that like, this is what I want. I've always wanted it since I was 12 years old watching Beverly Hills 90210. I know that this is what I want. And like, I'm
going after it.
And then when it happened, now, anytime I think that's too big or that's impossible, or like, really, you think that this could happen, Gina? It's like, yeah, because I've proven it to myself. You know, I
have proof that when I do, and I would say it this way, you had a thought, which is your mind and your emotions. And then when you start to put the action to plan, you started to put your body. And then, you know, I feel like it was a body, mind, soul alignment that took place. And you're probably going to teach us this, because I'm not a manifestation guru or teacher, but my limited understanding as it works with mindset is think, speak, do, become is what I say. So once you think it and you start to speak it, which is when you told your family, and then you start to make plans, you were doing, even while you weren't not in LA yet. And then you went there, you got there, and everything else was unfolding in divine order for what you have thought about, spoke about, prepared for, and got busy doing, even when you're at massage and even when you were at the bar. So when you knew in your soul, like you said, most people tell you not to talk to strangers for a reason. I told people some of my best things happen is because I talk to strangers. Like sitting here and all the wonderful guests, you all were people I never knew. And I have the most enlightening, empowering conversations that people from around the globe love. So why do we believe not talking to strangers? I think don't talk to creepy strangers. And strangers are only creepy because in your gut, you feel like you shouldn't be talking to them. But
that's like a psychic knowing almost.
Yes,
like everyone has
this that. Is what a psychic who I think she's clairvoyant, clairsentient, and then she has she's super high on them, but she said she flows with all of them. She was on, I think, the Jay Shetty podcast or Mel Robbins, and she was talking about it, and she's saying that you have and even science, I've been researching that gut we talk about is another, they're looking at it as like another brain, but that's where your soul speaks. That's your higher self, your inner knowing, where these clairvoyance and all that comes from. And we all have that level and degree of that psychic knowing. It's like, just feel like I should not be talking to Alisa. Don't do it then. Just follow it. When you felt clear and comfortable with the guy you got in the car with, that was your whole pathway. You wouldn't be anewhere.
If he said, let's go watch a movie, that does not speak to me. But Oprah's final season, like he had them DVR'd. Like we watched like 4 of them that night. I was like, this is amazing. Like I manifested Oprah.
Right. I have spoken to people and I'm like, normally this is not how it's supposed to be, but here I am. But we make up all these rules. And I know you're going to talk about how we block ourselves with manifestation. And limiting beliefs is where it comes in. You know, it's a limiting belief when your body, mind, and soul says go, but you don't, because your mama said, because your grandma said, because your community doesn't, because your religious practice isn't. And I'm not talking about anything that's immoral here. I'm talking about connecting, networking. you can't do anything without that. Your dream depends on who you're surrounded by.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So like, that's funny because people think like, oh, you can do it all. I can do this on my own. You do not do anything on your own. Like everything comes from and through other people.
That's right.
Like you can't have a successful podcast if people don't listen. So
exactly. And I can't have this podcast if I don't have the guests. And I can't have the podcast if someone doesn't help me edit because God knows that's just too much for me. I started off trying to, you can't, I just, that's what I talk about. The difference between codependence, independence, and interdependence. We are a interdependent world. And even when you're thinking you're independent, you are not, because you still need someone to bake the bread, put it on the store in Walmart for you to get it. You're still relying on people. You need people to count your money, put it in the bank, and you're just trusting you come back and it's there. You need people to wash your car, some of us, whatever it is, there's always something that you need. Where do you get bath soap? Someone made it. Someone chopped the tree, so you got a paper. Interdependence, just forget it.
I love that. I never heard the term interdependence. It's true.
Yes. It's so simple when I put it that way, but think about that. You will stay basic if the only level of interdependence you have is what I just described: bread, money, flour, whatever. But think about it. Your dreams and goals, you have to create a network and become interdependent. And I would say offer a reciprocal advantage as much as you can. And sometimes you can't. Because you did not do anything but say thank you forever to the one lady who got you that job, right?
I still do, yeah.
But you sent so much gratitude and positive energy for her. And because she did that, I'm pretty sure that opened up doors for her, that someone opened up a door for her along the journey. So it's still reciprocal. And like I said, I think those people you encountered, they might have had someone say, hey, all you're doing is say, hey, you might want to talk to this young woman I met that you might want to talk to. And she might have had that happen to her, so it's still that reciprocal.
And also, she didn't just like get me a job and then say, hey, I got you the job, show up at 8. I had to follow up. I had to call the manager and say, did Elijah Schlesinger happen to give you my name? I'm trying to get a job at your business.
Right.
I had to go in for the interview. I had to believe, like, even though I'm a crappy waitress, I'm going to figure this out.
This time, and I'm going to do really great.
Figure it out. I only worked there for a few months. Not even a plug, just something about the Comedy Store. I only worked there for like 2.5, 3 months, lived in LA for 4 years. And to the day I went to a show the week before I was leaving, and they still gave me my employee discount for my dreams. And I'm like, the joke around there is they pay you in friendship because the money is not good. You really do pay in friendship. Like, I just felt like, wow, this huge world famous Comedy Store is giving me, like, you remember, I'm like, you even remember me from 2.5, 3 years ago when I worked here? They're like actually really good.
They're like, they trust you because they're again, and that's also, they're not limiting themselves to figure out and chase down whether you really are or not. I really believe in freely give, freely receive. And we live in a world where everyone's just like me, I, what can I get? What am I going to get? What am I going to get? And I just posted about that. You're going to have to sometimes understand if you're doing great in this world, you're going to manifest your dreams. You're going to need people. So just sow seeds. And if you have the opportunity, water them, open up space to get sunlight, do as much as you can, and just don't be attached to it. Because everything we do for people, I always tell people, humans, we are just innately selfful. We just, as we get older, reduce the ability to be selfful. Because I think about how I don't really like to cook, but if I had to cook for my friends or my family, I enjoy it. And it's obviously only because I like seeing them filled. I like the feeling I get when they get filled and they enjoy a meal and they're not hungry and they say, oh, thank you, that was so good, even though I don't think I'm that good. The point is, I am cooking over and over again for people, not because I want to feed them, but because I want to feel the feeling.
Yeah.
Do you see how that is?
That's actually a like manifestation tip, or like just kind of like a secret, not really secret, but like the only reason why you want what you want. It's for the feeling you're going to get from it. So like we want abundance because we want the feeling of freedom, security, stability, choice,
Right.
stress-free. But
Right.
I think stress-free really means all those other things. Like we want the feeling that I could just go into a store or go online and book a vacation and not scheme and plan and plot on how this is going to work. Like we want that.
You know what you taught me that I was living sort of, and I didn't realize what you taught me about that is to bring that feeling right now.
Yes. I taught you that.
Yes, I guess we did. I was exploring it, but you solidified it in our conversation when you taught me that every move I make brings me closer to being a millionaire. And that's my mantra, right? Because millions of dollars and billions actually is required for what I have to do in the world. I can't do this work without money. And I'm not just talking about the podcast. Podcast is the least of my worries. That's what I do for fun. But it's coming into bringing it into the present because that's, I feel, what the power of the manifestation is. You already knew from watching Beverly Hills 90210, you had the feeling of what it would be like to live there. You had an image of who you were going to meet. Like you wanted to work with A-list celebrities. And guess what? You just felt like it was calling and it was time to show up where it was. And you did. So you already embodied that. You prepared you got a skill that would move you into those spaces. So once you're able, I find when I manifest, it's because I sit in anticipation that when I don't manifest, it's because I'm like, oh, I got to work, get my bachelor's degree so that I can. I have to get $5,000 so that I can feel free. It had taken so long. I had to leave my 9 to 5 so I can be an entrepreneur. That ish took so long and I was working so hard, but that's because the feeling of freedom, the feeling of being an entrepreneur, the feeling of creating the impact I want to was not present with me. So no matter what I do, I wasn't detached from my own dream.
Wow.
If I can right now feel the essence, and that's why I use visualization, I feel like I'm with the love of my life already. I see us on vacation. I don't know what his face looked like. I don't know what his race is, none of that. But I'm enjoying my time and I can feel his presence. Then he's already with me. That's for the romance piece. If I can feel myself and I can see and experience getting on a jet with the team and creating so much impact, and I get more specific then it's with me now. And so then I'm able to channel my energy in the right direction and bring the right people for the opportunities. And then all of a sudden they start showing up. And I don't know, that just was led with me. I'm like, you're separate from your dream. You're separate from this stuff you work so hard for. How would you bring it now? Because I started doing visualization. I did learn to do hypnosis and self-hypnosis and stuff to heal my body. And so even when I talk about losing weight, I look in the mirror and I see myself. I couldn't see it in the mirror. I was losing weight and still thinking I'm heavy. So now it was like, okay, connect with it. See myself as a healthy, see myself as a girl climbing the mountain and really crushing it, doing a 5K and just sit with her and experience her as often as I can, experience life through her, that version of myself. So she's here now. So all I have to do is align my actions with that. You know, people talk about the AI photos and how when people did it, they were all skinny. Well, do you know how many people actually realize that there's a version of me that I am keeping myself back and they're actually working on their bodies because they realize how much more appealing sexually and how many opportunities I would open up because they were playing around with those AI photos. There's literally a phenomenon from that last year because those went away. Yeah. But it's just, that's all manifestation you would tell me. And I love the look on your face because I stumbled on this and then you reinforced it when I was sitting with you a few months ago.
I really love that. So Joe Dispenza says, teach your body what your future feels like.
Love him.
Right. And so that it's like the visualization or gratitude without the feeling of really, you got to feel it.
Yes.
You don't have, you do.
You do. That's why I bring senses. What does it taste like? What does it taste like? What do you hear? Because I do it with my students who I'm working in workforce development, teaching them and getting them ready for job searching stuff. And they're like, when I turn the light off, and there's 52 of them in the classroom, they turn the light off. It's like, okay, I'm not going to hypnotize you. That's not what I'm doing. But I want you to take this journey with me. And if you don't feel like, just stay quiet, don't disrupt the rest of us. And so, okay, so it's the first day of your new job. You just got up. You just got up. What do you do first? It's open-ended. I don't tell them, what do you do first? Where do you go? Are you brushing your teeth? Are you combing your hair? Where are you going? What time do you have to be there? Are you taking the bus? Are you driving your car? Because they're depending on their situation. But I'm opening up space. What do you hear? What do you see on your way to work? What does traffic look like? When you pull up in front of the building, what is it? Is it a building? Is it a work site? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Who do you see? So I'm bringing their senses to that moment. And it's funny because some people will be like, oh my God, I saw this, and I was driving a truck and they don't have the truck. But now they're driving that Chevy Silverado that they always dream about. How much money are you making? And they're starting to feel it. What does your family think? How do you feel about what they think about you now that you have this dream job? And oh my God, you would not believe there would be people go out and interview, got 3 job offers and don't know which one to take. And I only do it one time out of 9 weeks. And it's because when we connect with the feeling, it becomes very real. Our brain does not know the difference. Exactly. They feel like that your brain, let me say that your brain thinks and creates the feeling that you've already been a multimillionaire with a Chevy Silverado at your dream job. And now all your brain wants to do is help you make sure it happens more and keeps happening.
100%. And you know what? A chat GPT thing. I'm doing this every night. And it's like, wow, it's already working. I said, tell me a story about an energy healer and manifestation coach who does this, this, and this. And she has 3 stepdaughters and she does this with her mom and this with her dad. And her business takes off in unimaginable ways. And it created this story for me that I am like, oh my gosh, like I'm here for every word. I love it. And it's just like, it did it in like 10 seconds. It would take me 6 months to write that and it still wouldn't be that good.
It wouldn't be that good. I remember when I first started playing around with ChatGPT a few months ago, I gave it my full bio. And I said, but I want you to write my bio for 5 years from now.
Oh.
And it's funny because it's almost like ChatGPT knew what I was projecting for based on what I'm doing right now. And it was just spot on. And it was introducing me, it was talking about all the media I would have done and who I've interviewed with. And I was like, what do I even need what's that thing called? A vision board for? There it is. Now I just need to, if I want to put pictures together now and do my vision board. But it was like now, and I'm like, okay, I just fooled around. I was like, okay, so tell me, what do I need to do to get there? Because I'm not, where I'm at. And it does. And so now I get, it's easy. I'm like, here's my sister right here, playing around with it the same way. And I tell people, you use ChatGPT for what you want to. Anything could be something.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, because when I listened to the story, how it wrote it better than I even could have, and it said things in there, I'm like, are you like looking at my rest of my phone? Because it's like, you spend time in Italy and you're doing this in Europe. And I'm like, I never said that, but that is where I like to go on vacation, or, it's more of a vacation. And I'm like, and it just said how I feel about my clients and how, it's like her manifestations weren't just about material things. It was about helping people come out of darkness and into the light. And I'm like, that is what it's about. Yes. I don't think I put that in as the prompt. And so it gets me. So I'm feeling it in a way that, some people have trouble like bringing in the feeling. Yes. So like hearing the story. So then I put it into a program on my computer. I recorded it like a meditation with meditation music behind it. And now it's like my bedtime story.
I love that. You guys got a gem of lifetime there. I would never think of using ChatGPT like that, but that I love that. Oh my goodness. We got to dive into this and I couldn't wait. Certified emotion code, body code, and belief code practitioner. Why did you choose that? And how are you truly changing the world and your clients' lives with this?
I found this video on YouTube one day and it said release a trapped emotion. And I was like, that sounds just right up my alley. So I tried to do it. It's Dr. Bradley Nelson, Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's the founder of Emotion Code. I almost said Bradley Cooper.
I know, because we love Bradley Cooper. He's the only Bradley we care about.
Yes. And my body moved back on no, and it moved forward on yes. And I'm just like, what is happening? So it was just the easiest video in the world. So I'm like, how do you get certified? I just full body yes. So I'm like, how do you get certified in this? Within 5 days, I'm in the certification course and I'm doing it. And I had already heard of Emotion Code when I was in a massage class, but I'm like, you're here for a massage. Don't do that right now. Stay focused, because I clearly love to learn things and get certified in things. So from the Emotion Code, it's finding and releasing trapped emotions. Mm-hmm. So when a situation is so overly heavy, our body can't process the full emotion, or we're already imbalanced in some way, like we're stressed or sick or just overwhelmed, then that's when your body can trap an emotion.
Yes.
It can be from any age. It can be from a past life. It can be inherited. So we know about like generational trauma.
Yes. Yes.
And I love those, because when you release an emotion, if I release an inherited emotion in you, we would say, is it from your mom's side or from the dad's side? How many generations back does it go? Do you have kids? We release it all the way up and down the family line. So it's real healing, even if it's 18 generations ago. A client this week, it was 18 generations. I mean, that's like 500 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I've learned about that, about how we, even from generations, that was really scary for me. When I found that out, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I had a guest on who talked about constellations, and she was talking about the generational emotions that are trapped. But you really do help your clients not just recognize them, but release them so they can move forward.
And so sometimes symptoms are really a gift. They are your body's way of communicating to you that there's a problem, there's an imbalance, like pay attention to me. Mm-hmm. And it tends to happen whether it's in your body or another area of your life. So like if love is really important to someone and they have something to heal, they might have problems in their love life because that's the area that they care about the most. So they're going to pay attention. Oh. They might have problems in their money. So it's not like you're not meant for money or you're not meant for love. Your body or God, your soul is trying to communicate to you in an area that you care about so that you'll care enough to actually work on it.
Oh, wow.
So symptoms and triggers, they're a gift. They show us what needs to be healed.
Come on. Say that again. Say that again for us, for the people in the back.
Symptoms and triggers are a gift because they show us what needs to be healed.
Right. So let's anchor there for a bit, because I had an experience just last night where this is the thing about my journey that I'm enjoying, is that I realize when something really awful comes up, like maybe I remember losing my dad, for example, and then because he passed, I could get really sad and be sad for like the rest of the day and not feel motivated. Just using that as an example. But I learn now, what I realize, I can be sad, I could be disappointed, I could be discouraged, I could feel frustrated, I could even feel anger, I could even feel afraid. And it's a window that it's getting shorter and shorter. Mm-hmm. So I was sharing with a family member and I said, oh, when I discovered this, I felt this. And she's like, oh, you don't need to waste time feeling that way. And I let her say that because I know better. And I was like, yeah, I thank you so much, because what she's trying to do is uplift me. And I say, thank you. But I ask, when I feel that way, why did you feel that way? And what are you supposed to learn in this moment? Because it's like you said, and I'm like, I didn't know this, but I realized it's trying to tell me there's a piece of me that I would say it's an unhealed version or unhealed spot or a blind spot or just something, because I feel like there's layers of healing, right? When something happens, and now you're telling me that it could be from 18 generations ago, right? Well, come on, just few 5 generations or less. It was people on plantations for both of us, right? Either way, it was this environment, right? And so we're carrying this stuff literally. So when people make fun about something, like, it's this serious, this is really real, it's not a joke. This happened for all of us, humanity. We're not as far ahead as we think we are in terms of what's within our loins. And that's my little old-fashioned word for it. So yeah, when I experience it, I acknowledge it, I honor it, and say, okay, what? And then I ask, why, what? Why, what? Until I get to the deeper why. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now I know, I'm aware. And sometimes all it is awareness. Let's not go and act like I get all philosophical and like, oh, now let me go do yoga and chant. No, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. All right. And now I can go to sleep, when in the past I would lose sleep. I wouldn't sleep all night. I probably would lose my appetite. Nah, I didn't do that. Life goes on. Life is great. There's some stuff I'm aware of now, and over time I might address it, or I might, depending on what it is, I bring someone else in the conversation, whether it's a coach or a therapist, and say, here's what I feel, I got really scared, and here's what I'm thinking. What are you hearing and feeling? Oh, that's so good. Oh, I had to let that out. I had to share it because you're saying it.
Well, and you made me think of so many things, and I forget what this work is called, but basically the scientific fact is, the egg that produced you was in your grandmother. So the egg that produced me was in my grandmother. So whatever my grandmother went through in the Depression or on a plantation or wherever, the trauma, we're made from that.
You're talking about your mother's mom. So my mom. How long those eggs last?
Yeah. And I think I can't think of what the body of work is called, but I do remember the fact that the egg that made us was our grandmother's egg. Because I think the eggs produce for 2 generations. So whatever you've gone through, your daughter or son, and then that person's daughter or son carries the vibration, the experience.
So it's the daughter and not the son, or it's both?
I don't know actually.
We got to look that up, because
we have to. I think it's called etymology, but that could be the study of last names. I'm not.
Okay, we'll look it out. But that's, okay. I know that a lot of scientists are referring back to that a lot because.
Sorry, really quick. Oprah's book, It Didn't Start With You. The answer to what we're talking about is
in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we conclude this inspiring first part of our conversation with Gina Giro, we hope you've gained valuable insights into the power of manifestation and the importance of aligning your thoughts with your desires. Remember, every journey starts with a single step, and embracing your true potential is the key to unlocking new possibilities. Be sure to join us for part 2, where we dive deeper into the transformative concepts of healing and abundance. Until then, keep shining your light and manifesting your dreams.